quite stop the abduction, which means Fave's going to be taking that to the face, looking to get smacked around. Quick heals coming out of Bugsy. Here comes the orbital coming down. Connect's got a couple blasts, trying to get down. Here comes the warp blast. We're trying to finish on Fave. Fave's going to live up, goes up on the high ground, trying to dodge it. Going up, gets pulled right back down. And trying to live. Repulsor's coming in, keeping Fave alive just barely. Here comes the Warp Blast for the finish on Fave. Down goes Fave as he's not able to keep himself up despite the repulsors, despite the damage, despite the heals. It's not enough to keep Fave up. As Bugsy's on the run with that accelerate, they're looking to trying to pick up Fave. Fave's going to get grabbed up by Roy as they're trying to do everything. Bugsy, though, is going to be eating that to the face. Here comes the Warp Blast, knocking Bugsy up. Shield coming out from Fave. Fave's going to be keeping up Bugsy as he's just trying to survive. Dome is now released. They are in health damage, which means Varicor is probably going to be on the run, but he does decide to stay. Bugsy's staying just barely alive thanks to the shields from Fave as he's healing himself up. Hero Heal Burst going to be keeping him alive. Shields coming in, which is going to stop him from taking that damage on the abduct. And they're going to try and get a little bit of damage out of the satellite as it comes through and it's spinning. Not quite able to do anything, though.
Phenomenal play there, you know. I mean, almost no health damage. Managed to get that strike in. Almost pulled off that second strike. But, you know, I think they made the right decision at the end there to give up on that second strike and hightail out of there.
Sometimes you just got to scream cheese it and go.
Yes, sir. And the repulsor back there, it seemed like Varicor was doing a great job of avoiding having their abilities stuffed by it. You know, constantly going in the opposite direction of it, or you know, maybe the repulsor came up a little bit too late. Because with the abduct, you got to get that repulsor going before the abduct even starts. It looks like they're sneaking along the side here, going to try and juke them through the building. But they know where. I think they know where. Yep, their repulsor. They're holding them inside the building right now. As going to try and back out and just wait it out and see which way they're going to go.
Yeah, and they're going through right now, and they're just trying to posture and decide which direction they want to go. They know he's back there, so they're trying to decide exactly how they want to position it. So Wardoom's actually going to back up, and he's going to back up a little bit too far, which allows Varicor to just barely slip out through the edge of the dome. And he was almost able to get the perfect measurement, which is what we saw there with the pings. He was trying to use it to measure exactly how far it was. Overstepped just a little bit, and suddenly you're in a completely different scenario. Like right now they don't have dome, and they're going to be in a rough spot to catch him before he gets stage 3.
Yeah, you saw they just didn't have the right angle in that repulsor to keep it on him and stop him. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more devastating than a Jack who's in the right position to stuff your escape there.
Yeah. So I don't know, it's going to be hard to really force his way through here, and they need to be breaking through armor and everything without a dome, so it's going to be rough.
So the odds are saying 50-50, but what's your thoughts? We got one strike on Hank. What do you think?
And it comes down to what he does before he gets stage 3. If he gets just stage 3 and he gets through it safely, like it's very contingent on what happens during those stages. Right now, if he's able to get another strike, I definitely would say it's more like 60-40, if not like 70-35. Or sorry, 65-35.
Agreed. I think with one strike on him right now, if he manages to go through without getting hit, it's still going to be fairly even because being at the relay fighting a Wraith kind of mitigates that strike a little bit.
And right now, you're looking at Wardoom. He has Dome ready, and he's good to go. It's just going to come down to whether or not he's able to do it. He's at 50 meters right now, so he wants to get a perfect Dome without any loops, forcing the Wraith to engage. And he's going to be leaping forward right now because he knows he has it. 40 meters, which means he can throw it right now, and the monster's in. Here comes the Warp Blast knocking him up. Varicor is looking to engage, but he's not quite able to escape. They want to make sure they get this, though, because they do have the Dome, and this is actually going to allow Varicor to stage up as soon as he gets Evolve ready, which right now he's not, which is a key factor on this Dome.
Agreed, and maybe he'll be able to pull a strike off on this Dome, which will get him the nice setup.
Yeah, and that'll get him a good stage 3 position. It means he'll be able to stage up. Repulsor beams are coming in, which is going to keep Varicor from finishing up Fave. Fave right now is in the acid, just trying to dodge, gets slowed down by the movement because it is a little bit deep there as you see him swimming. Warp Blast coming in, knocking him around. Fave's getting low. He's trying to get it through. Abduction going in, gets blocked by Roy, trying to get some finishing. Really low. Roy trying to get a little bit of hiding. Personal shield gets popped, which means that Fave's going to be looking to hide, but he uses his cloak to try and keep himself up. Bugsy revealing him with a little bit of healing grenades. and he's just trying to go through, goes for the abduct, gets blocked by Wardoom's repulsor beam as he's going in for the finish. Here comes the supernova for the finish on Roy, has to burn the shield, and he goes in for the warp blast, does connect on Bugsy. Bugsy's a little bit low, needs to heal himself up. Here comes the orbital though, dropping down, gets a little bit of health damage. They are at health damage at this point, so it's starting to swing in the Hunter team's favor. They're looking through, warp blast comes in, hits on Bugsy. Bugsy's at half health, Roy's getting low. Everything's being done to try and get distance now. Vericor's on the run, he's down 2 bars and a chip, going right through. Rockets are being done, Wardoom's in a little bit, everyone trying to get a little bit of damage as we're going through. Vericor now has the space to evolve, but needs to finish his evolve meter.
That was a tough fight there, you know. I mean, having Hank up, being able to get those clutch shields out really swayed it in their favor. And it looks like he's just going to get that little bit he needs there, and I think we're going to be seeing stage 3 maybe in the building over here. Something to protect from that orbital.
I don't know, it's going to be rough to see what he does. He does, like, the orbital was just used. It'll be off cooldown now, though. But, like, it'll be rough to see if he's able to do it. He'll probably do it in safe caves. Orbital, like, this map, specifically, has a large amount of areas where they can evolve safely, right? Which is what we're seeing right here. Safety cave is best cave.
Exactly, and this cave is great too because if you ever get an overzealous hunter who comes in there, you can do a lot of work in these enclosed spaces.
Speaking of overzealous hunter that just walked right in there, we're looking at Roy coming in with that super soldier, trying to get a little bit of damage. But we're looking through, we have a full 3-point build and everything but decoy, looking to finish up Roy. Roy has to burn the personal shield. Going on through, does actually have a half health, half shield Roy, as he's just trying to sneak some armor in on this engagement. Wardoom is taking point. Here comes the Warp Blast, connects on no one as they're just barely able to sidestep it. Abduct being used. Wardoom's now going to start getting juggled. Bugsy's going to have to be on point with those heals, and he is, meaning leaving Fave, though, in the middle of the map. He's going to be having a hard time standing up on King of the Hill as he's just trying to survive and deal damage to Vericor, and they are succeeding. Here comes the punches, dealing lots of damage. Going to be going after Bugsy. Bugsy's going to get knocked around. Warp Blast being used, connects on Roy. Roy's getting down to half. This Vericor is getting low, though, down to 3 bars. Slowly melting through. Everything's being done, and he's just trying to get everything to go. And here we go. Here comes the Warp Blast, and it's going down. Connects on Wardoom. Fave, though, on point with that shield. Personal shield getting popped by Roy to make sure he doesn't go down. Bugsy's just healing everyone as Fave's in the back throwing out the shields. More of the laser cutters being done as the repulsor being used to stop him from getting away. Just bursting forward, throwing out the orbital, throwing out everything, trying to get through that last bit of health as Wardoom is in the rear, shooting him with those pistols on the chase. Bugsy's doing damage. Everyone's dealing damage. Down to just a little bit over a bar of health for Vericor.
That was a real tough fight. It looked like they were having a tough time deciding which hunter to go for. They'd get a lot of chunks taken out and just swap back to the other one, you know, beating on, Roy there. He pops his shield, switch over, beat on Bugsy. She gets shielded by Hank, switch over. I feel like a little bit more of a laser focus on maybe Fave there might have swayed that fight in his favor a bit better.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, my God.
God.
That should be illegal.
Oh, that hurt me.
Oh, man.
4 Mammoth Bird Warp Blast. That almost killed him.
That's like 56 gigawatts.
It almost sent him back in time.
Holy crap.
There's nothing else to say about that. Holy Mammoth Bird.
Quad bird blast, man. Oof.
Woo! Good thing he armored up before he went in there, otherwise that would have been a dead Vericor.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it looks like you guys didn't do enough mammoth bird killing during the big mammoth bird hunt we had.
Yeah, the turkey shoot.
Yeah, they're still thriving.
Needs some population control. Goes in, grabs Bugsy. Bugsy's going to get knocked around, which means he's going to be at half right at the start of this dome as we're going in. Here comes the shields, though, from Faye. Faye's going to be keeping up Bugsy. Bugsy's going to get abducted and brought back to the low ground. Orbital being thrown to get him off Bugsy. Bugsy's going to be kept alive, though, just barely with the shield. Here comes the Warp Blast. Bugsy's down. There's a strike on Medic, which means that he's going to get abducted, pulled to the outskirts of the map, and knocked down a little bit, which means that they're not going to be able to pick him up anywhere near as easily. Here comes the satellite, though, which means it's going to deal some damage as he's going through. As they're just getting through the last little bit of health of Vericor, as more of it's just getting chipped away as they're going through. He's down to about half a bar. Going in for the finish. Doesn't quite get it, though. Needs to keep him off that Medic. And he's going through the Warp Blast. Has a sliver of HP. Trying to survive. Not quite able to, though. Has a sliver of HP. Has 0 HP. Needs to survive this dome. And as he goes down, tries to hide in the acid. Not quite able to. And down goes Vericor, meaning TPA gets their first win.
I got to give him props, though. He was trying for that Hail Mary play there. Like, all right, maybe they'll all go for the body, and I can just blast them.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be able to get it and just get a clutch victory. And he was actually able to get the down, was able to do a good amount of damage. If we look at their healths at the end, they were all getting pretty low. He just needed a little bit more.
Those mammoth birds probably put a dent in his morale there, you know? I mean, how do you recover from that?
It's mammoth birds, man. They just try and rig the match in their favor.
Ferocious. I've never seen a quad. I've seen a triple, never a quad.
So, I don't know, like, the quad, like, it just melted. Like, he had almost full armor. Quad mammoth bird happened. There it goes.
Okay, man.
Amazing. I would love nothing more than mammoth bird tier 6. Just mutated, beastly mammoth bird. That'd make me happy.
Yeah. Like, it's... Oh, man. I don't know, like, what is it that you could do for the next monster? Like, there's a couple theories going out there that it's going to be the next one, but we still got a long ways away. We still got another support and a medic and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'd love to see, like, a twist on, like, sheer wildlife, because they've mentioned that it evolves over time and stuff like that.
Sure.
And we haven't seen one that's specific to sheer, because he always mentioned that, you know, the Kraken was seen on other planets, Goliath was seen on other planets, you know, Gorgon was seen on other planets. Like, these are all ones that were seen on other planets. There hasn't been one that's specific.
The Moby Dick sort of, you know, mammoth bird. Like, you know, they could like bring the story in about the legend of, you know, the big bird or something. Have like this big mutated mammoth bird. I think it would fit with the lore well. You know, maybe have like, you know, Crow talking about the one that got away that he saw years ago or something.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like the different like options they still have for the stories and what they could still add.
Yeah, and they've said before that they don't want to do furry animals. So, like, when I'm brainstorming for, like, what the next monster could be, it's like I'm thinking of all these, like, potential ones, but it's like, nope, that's got fur. That one's out of the equation.
I don't know.
I'd love to see something that kind of has, like, a hover to it, you know? Like, not quite flying, not quite as low as the Wraith, but, like, something with, like, a hover mechanic.
It'd be interesting to see, like... The one thing that, like, with Gorgon, because they mentioned that they were doing, like, a spider-type monster, and there's been several concepts that have been thrown in, just because, you know, people write things on the forum, and you just got to read them, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
So you look at that, and, like, one thing that I thought would be really cool would be if, like, the traversal was, like, a web ability, and it just created, like, a web in an area, which means you move faster, and the hunters move slower in an area. But in this case, you would only have 3 of them, right? So you can put them in 3 different spots on the map to try and help out with that.
Sure, absolutely. Just trying to fix my camera here.
I just noticed, I was like, oh, you just
Yeah.
don't want to be on camera today.
Yeah. Well, it's mirrored, so I'm like looking at him like, all right, I gotta turn it this way. Nope, this way. I think that should fix it.
But yeah, like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of options still available to them, especially with the Cry engine, which is part of the reason why they chose it, because they have a large amount of options, and it's all going to be cosmetically, like, pretty, and, like, you know, they have a large amount of control with it, which is why they like the Cry engine. It's actually a really good engine for what they're doing.
I love it. Yeah, I love the Cry engine, you know, and I think, like, when people, you know, talk about Evolve being free to play and stuff like that, is like, it's Cry engine, you know, like, this is a great engine, AAA quality, you know, the world, the monsters in it, the textures, everything like that, you know, it justifies it, in my opinion, personally.
And no, because you guys are already doing it, I don't know if there's another monster. This is theory. I don't know. Theory. Don't, Grizzle, if you quote me on one of your videos as a source, I will just sit there and be like, nope.
On December 5th, Seeds in his cast revealed.
They revealed that he was doing this. It's like, no, I don't know anything. I only know what I read on the forums and I watch Grizzle Marine videos. Like, that's it. That's all I know.
I'd be cool with like a basilisk soldier, you know? I mean, I know a lot of people thought that this current monster was going to be one. I'd be cool if they made a basilisk.
Yeah, like a basilisk mutation or like...
Because like Matt Colville, he had spoken about it, and he said that, you know, when people were saying like, oh, well, maybe this is a basilisk, he came out and said, he was like, no, the way I envisioned them when I was writing the story was that they're these big hulking monstrosities with like, you know, large shells and everything. So you could almost be like a crab monster type deal.
Like, the one thing that's been, like, an interesting fan theory is, like, in regards to the basilisk is because they reference, like, the basilisk war, which is, like, people being mutated with genes of whatever. And the monsters appeared after the war, right?
Yeah.
So, like, one of the cool little fan theories, and I don't remember who started it. I know it's been everywhere. I think Grizzle did a video on it as well. I'm not entirely sure. Is based around the concept of the monsters being independent and actually were being basilisk soldiers, and they were originally, like, the host was originally a basilisk soldier that had the ability to, do things, and because